Hey everybody, it's Sean from BusyBoxx, and today we're talking about fire compositing. We're going to start off with the green screen, and we're going to set it on fire. So let's get started over in After Effects by importing our green screen footage and our 4K fire and sparks elements from BusyBoxx. We've got a few different things going on here, so let's make a few folders to get organized. We'll call this one Footage and put our green screen clip in here. And one for our fire elements. Then let's create a new HD composition. And that will be our main fire composition. We need to prepare our green screen footage. So let's drag that down and make a composition for that. Then head over to our effects and search for key light. Drag that onto our footage, and we can use the eyedropper tool to set the color that we want to key out. And it looks like it did a fine job with the default settings. Let's duplicate the track and set it to overlay and reduce the opacity. This will darken our clip just slightly. Now let's go back to the project and work on our fire clips. We downloaded the main clip and the alpha clip provided by BusyBoxx, so we'll drag these two into their own single composition. To make the background transparent so we can layer the clip, we need to move the alpha clip to the top and then set the track matte of the main clip to Luma Matte. Now we're going to clean up the matte just a bit by adding an adjustment layer. And let's search our Effects tab for Remove Color Matting and apply that to the adjustment layer. The Remove Color Matting effect helps to remove color fringes with pre-multiplied color channels. So, now that this is prepared, we'll go ahead and pre-compose this into its own comp. We'll call it Fire Comp. Now, in order to fill our background with fire, let's duplicate this comp a few times and set 3 levels of perceived depth by varying the size and blurred properties. We'll take the bottom track and size it up considerably and reposition it near the middle. Then let's go back to the effects search and find a fast box blur and apply it to that layer. This is going to be our layer all the way in the back, so to simulate depth of field, we can set this blur to about 3. Now go to our middle track and position it so it starts a little bit later in time and size. Size it to cover the base of our background fire. And then apply the fast box blur and set that to around 2. Now do the same to our top clip. It'll be the smallest and the closest to the action. So we'll only put a slight blur on that at about 1. Now we can pre-compose all of these into a new composite as FireComp2, which we'll use as our main background. So let's go back into our main fire composition and start putting together the elements of our scene. Dragging our green screen clip comp and drag our FireComp2 under that. Now we want to slide our FireComp2 tracks so that the action starts around the same time as our clip. Our FireComp2 is a full 4K resolution, so we've got plenty of room to adjust the size and position to taste. Let's play through the scene we have so far. There are some areas lacking coverage, so we can plug those holes by duplicating our FireComp2 and moving that duplicate to the bottom, sliding it to start a bit later. Now the background is nice and full of flames. To give our scene just a little more depth, let's try putting some sparks in the foreground. We've got some orange sparks that we downloaded from BusyBoxx, and we're going to drag those down on top of our scene. Now we'll need to change our blending mode to see through these. For this one, I think lightened seems to work pretty well. You can experiment with others if you like. Since all footage from BusyBoxx is 4K, let's go ahead and rotate our clip 90 degrees. And zoom out to check our coverage. Now I'm going to animate the position of the clip starting at the far end where the sparks are pretty light. Now we only want those sparks to come in once the fire is already on screen. So we'll find that point. Move the start of our sparks clip there. And then set a keyframe for our opacity to 100%, and then move a few frames left and set another for 0%. So the sparks fade up as they come in. Now let's go ahead and set a keyframe for our position. Then slide down to the end of our clip and move the clip along the y-axis until the sparks get more dense. And we'll check playback. It looks pretty good. Now, go have some fun downloading different clips from BusyBoxx and applying these techniques to your own green screen footage.